Hello, and welcome back to the Spiderlair. I'm Spider, of course, and on this channel, we usually like to take a prompt and then make a character based off the prompts. But I'm throwing in another little quickie, had a topic that I wanted to discuss, and brought back Owen by popular demand for this episode.
Hello.
Because
The people couldn't get enough.
it's true, yeah, it was in high demand. It's the most watched episode.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I think,
Oh my
maybe.
god.
I don't, I don't check those things.
I just rubbed my eye and it started to sting really bad.
This is a train wreck already.
So I'm not gonna rub my eye right in front of the mic because it might sound like a very different video. Because I'm literally sobbing right now out of one eye.
Oh my god.
Take my
Are
word
you
for
all
it.
right?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. It just
Yeah, we
randomly
can't see
happens.
it, so paint us a word picture. How soggy is your eyeball right now?
Drenched.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
drenched.
sogged. I think our intro is good though.
Yeah, that was a really good intro. We're
It's a
gonna
great
talk
one.
about art block.
So throw us into art block. So
I'm not gonna throw you
what is
into
art
art
block, Spider? What is art block? Tell me.
Art block is when I come to your house and I physically block your hand from drawing.
Okay, so I confirmed have never experienced art block. Have you?
No, that's kind of why I don't know how to define it. So I've heard it's a thing. I've heard art block is a thing from,
Yeah.
like through the grapevine. I get
Yeah.
around, you know what I mean? Like I've heard people talking to each other in conversation. And
From great distance.
yeah, well, I have the little the cup to the wall.
Oh, smart,
So
smart, smart, smart.
uh so yeah, and I'll hear people talk about art block and I'm like, huh? What is it? What does that mean? So apparently, I know you wouldn't know this, so I'm going to define it for you.
Yep.
It's when people are feeling uninspired to draw or have no ideas as to what they want to draw, or they're feeling some kind of frustration while drawing when their piece isn't going very well. Again, I've never experienced any of these things, so I can't. Yeah.
And keep in mind that Spiderlair and myself, we sit on kind of opposite ends of the spectrum where I draw like strictly when I feel like it hobby kind of way, and Spiderlair just draws 24/7.
All the time. I don't stop.
So we can hit you from those two ends of the spectrum and talk about the strategies that we've tried to employ to dodge those feelings and those inabilities to keep working and keep drawing.
Yeah, I would definitely say that I don't run out of ideas because I just don't think you ever could. There's so many things to draw. But if I am feeling a little stuck or rusty, I just will generate some kind of prompt, go to a random word generator. That's why I like doing this series on my channel so much. It's because it just kind of gives you something to mess with, because within that confine, that edit, there is just a multitude of options as to how to combine two things. If you say, make like a frog mech, it's like there's millions of ways to do that. And now you've created a problem to solve, and it becomes more of a puzzle, and things just kind of start drawing themselves. Just sort of all starts lining up because it's like there's only so many options when you edit it down like that.
Yeah, and it kind of ties into the idea of like messying up your canvas, where like when you see a blank white canvas or page or whatever, it can scare you, and you get a little bit nervous to start to fill it up. Maybe sometimes you still get like really excited to see a blank page, but just that idea of like just put random lines, doesn't matter what, put whatever the hell you want on that page, and just make it so that you don't feel the threat of messing up something that's good. If you have
Yeah.
no attachment to what's there, then there's no risk of doing something worse than what you've already got.
Yeah, I've probably
Quote unquote.
repeated the phrase, I never get too married to anything, about 1 million times. And it's true. It's just, my art's not very precious to me. I do it because it's fun and not because there are some times when I'm trying to accomplish a goal, like I'm trying to get better at doing this one thing. And I can see where the second half of that would come in, right? Like there are things obviously that I can't draw, believe it or not. And
no,
like I can't draw like a gun or like a mech or anything like that.
So you're very passive.
Yeah, exactly. If I am getting frustrated with learning a new thing, I usually just switch gears and go back to the comfort drawing, because I think I need to retain the joy of it first and foremost in order to
Yeah.
keep feeling motivated to do it. So I can even do a combination of mixing the thing I'm trying to do with something that I draw all the time. And that way it's like only a small aspect of the drawing and not you just tackling a whole new thing with like no knowledge at all. Like if I knew, I'm really good with like the musculature of quadrupeds. Like that comes naturally to me because I draw them so
Oh,
much.
really?
Yeah. And so I could, if I was to like attempt a mech, I would probably combine it with like an animal that I already really know the musculature of because it would just make more sense because I'd understand where hinges go and things like that. So that's kind of how I circumvent that is I'll just come back to comfort drawings. And if those aren't going well, it doesn't what does it matter? Like I can't make it matter. If I'm not having fun, I'll go do something different that's fun. I mean, I'll go take a walk. Like sometimes it's because I haven't drank water in a while. Sometimes it's because I forgot to eat. So
Haven't
like
eaten in days,
yeah,
the small things.
it's not the end of the world to have art block, but I do see people getting fascinatingly upset about it. So I
Yeah.
hope any of this helps.
And yeah, it only really becomes a problem when you let it take away from the fact that you're producing art at all.
Mhm.
Like if it just turns you off of art so much that you can't draw anything for months at a time, like there's no possible way that that's better than just drawing for 1 second a day. Even the tiniest little thing is
Yeah.
better than just not drawing at all. So just find something that you like drawing, and there's no reason to beat yourself up because you're not like training and drawing some crazy thing that you hate drawing. Having
Yeah.
that tiny drawing that you enjoy is so much more valuable than just doing nothing at all. So
Yeah, that
I think
and
that's really important.
I think people worry about I'm like a one trick pony, this, that, the other thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know how awesome it is to be that marketable. Do you know how much I wish that my Instagram had the same kind of drawing over and over again
Had the one same face.
instead of like the erratic, like all over the place, nothing, no color scheme matches, like nothing. I don't have colors I stick to. I don't have subject matter I super stick to. Like, I would love it if there was only like a couple things. Sure. So first of all, marketable. So that's money in your pocket. But and second of all, as long it's more important to continue to enjoy drawing than it is,
Yeah.
or making art in any way. I don't mean to just siphon this to drawing. It's just more important to just do it at all, like you're saying, like do it a little bit every day and have fun than it is to worry about I'm not getting like quote unquote better because I won't get into what does that even mean. That's so subjective. Like being good, bad at art, that's a whole other can of worms that I'm not going to get into right now. So yeah. There's definitely ugly art, but no.
Oh yeah.
Which also
big
makes
time.
money. like Family Guy.
Especially makes money.
Yeah. Do you know when they were
Yeah.
making King of the Hill, they were like, you have to make these characters uglier. Like that's what the director said. It was like
Is that
to the
real?
team. Yeah. He's like, yeah, they're not ugly enough. You're gonna make the art more bad.
Oh my god. That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's so lucky
Right.
to go there and be like, this looks great. Now make it look like absolute dog. Uh, you know,
Dog Dookie.
a dog.
Make it look like
Yeah.
a dog.
That's like even like to think about it that way is useful as well. To think that no matter what you're doing, it's right. Like there's a place for every kind of art or like anything you can produce.
There's no wrong way to
You
do
know?
art because it's like
Yeah,
if your goal
exactly.
was to make it look like this other thing and you didn't like achieve that goal, it's like, okay, well, did you learn something? Did you did you have fun doing
It's your
it?
own
Like,
thing.
yeah, it's yours now. Like, there's no downside. Bad there's no bad art day. I don't know. I just can't. I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I'm sorry. But anyway, it sounds like you're saying for your tactics is just draw something, doesn't have to be amazing. Just do it make it a habit and eventually,
Yeah.
you know.
On the days when you're feeling really good, you'll draw more. On the days when you feel really terrible, at least you drew something, you know?
Yeah, and don't self-flagellate when, you know, if you skip a day or something. It doesn't matter. Like you don't need to turn it into an obligation. As soon as it's an obligation, is starting to get a little into
Yeah.
hard to stay motivated
And I
territory.
think it can still be fun. Like the strategy that I've taken that I've found works, and literally knock on every piece of wood on the planet because I'm
Mhm.
having a lot of fun doing it. And I
Yeah.
don't want this habit to break. Is I draw one thing I really like as a daily exercise. I draw one thing I really like, so usually a head or a face. I draw one thing that is mindless, so like an abstract shape, and then I draw one thing that I want to get better at. So for me, it's backgrounds. So I'll draw a head, an abstract shape, and a background.
Yeah, you said
And
something interesting to me before where you wanted to get better at background, so you like again in the context of how we were talking about editing and limiting
yeah,
yourself, you were like you made it a rule, like a puzzle to solve. You were like, I'm going to put a background anytime I draw any character. I thought that was amazing.
and you know what? It helped a lot. And I'm trying to now get better at. Like I've noticed, I was like, okay, I've put backgrounds in,
Hmm.
but the perspective is pretty pathetic. So how about instead now I put the character in perspective and then I line that perspective up to a background. And it's like, okay, so now I can slowly add that one tiny level of complexity as I can handle it. And no, honestly, it makes it fun
Hmm.
because it's not tedious. It's like a challenge every single time because I literally don't have a choice. Like if I'm gonna do a character, there has to be a background.
Yeah, I would almost say all that creativity is problem solving, like
Sure.
taking a
Yeah, yeah.
challenge and like finding a way to solve the problem at hand. How do I combine
Mhm.
a horse and a mech? Like, like how would I do that? More parameters you put on something, I feel like the
Yeah.
more you try to box it in, the more you start thinking outside of the box.
Well, I also think there's a place for that complexity and that like number of rules to set for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's or like when you're trying to improve at something or you're trying to make a very specific piece and you have that motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe when that motivation starts to wane, that's when you can start to let those rules become a little less specific. So just saying, okay, character and background, no matter what that means.
Yeah,
You know,
sort of like,
when you make too
mm,
many expectations for yourself, that's when it gets harder to deliver.
right.
And you can give yourself that slack of saying, okay, I still need a background, but what does a background mean? Can I just draw a series of receding lines? It's like,
Right.
yeah, that's a background. You know?
Yeah, this is like a spoon theory where you have goals that you want to set every day, but you don't know what your energy level is going to be. So this is like people with chronic pain, chronic fatigue. I have a friend who will be walking along the sidewalk and then feel the overwhelming urge to have to lay down, and will just look at the cold sidewalk and be like, I think I'm just gonna lay down because it's like they just have fatigue. It just sets
Yeah.
in randomly. And so for people who don't know, spoon theory is like you only have a certain number of spoons you can use throughout the day, so you have to pick what you're going to assign it to. So it's good to have
Interesting.
low spoons solutions. And like
Yeah.
again, but the low spoons and the low energy and the not wanting to draw, like in my mind is another parameter. It's like, okay, I have to draw a background, but I am so low energy that and it seems so daunting and tedious that I super don't want to. It's like, okay, then what's the laziest way you can do it? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
um, so yeah, hopefully that helps some folks. Um,
And if it
and
didn't, then you know what?
dislike this video, thumbs down it.
You're beyond help.
Yeah, it's really a you problem.
No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, if it didn't help you, then really the best solution is to sit in whatever you're feeling and try to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
Because this is just what's worked for Spyder and myself so far.
Hmm.
And obviously, it's specific to whoever you are as a person. So just like really, whatever you're at, just like really sit in that and
Easy.
try to
Just
keep
know
drawing
thyself.
through it.
Yeah. Just be really self-aware. Easy.
Exactly. No, it's too easy.
But and also if you have any more tips that have worked for you to get out of art block, I'd actually really like to see those in the comments because it's definitely something I get asked about a lot. And when I explain, you know, my where I'm coming from as far as why it's never happened to me, it just doesn't resonate with some people. So I'd really like to see like what other people might have to add. So
Yeah,
go ahead and
yeah.
drop that down there.
Because I know it's a pretty serious issue, and
People
it
talk
really
about it a
affects
lot. Yeah.
everyone. Like everyone as an artist, it really affects
Mm-hmm.
you. So it's important it's an important thing to think about and try to see if you can find ways to deal with it.
Yeah, that's all we got. Like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Ciao.